Good morning. My name is Lakshmi Rao. I'm a director with the International District Energy Association, and it is my pleasure to have you join us for this workshop today. The content and discussion will be based on a research report that IDA produced in April of 2017, so it's very recent, for the International Energy Agency implementing agreement on district heating, cooling, and CHP. It was part of Annex 11. That's how they do their research reports. So I would like to thank them very much for supporting this important work and for enabling this workshop. I look forward to your engagement and a rich discussion. We have a lot of experts in the room, and we'd like to build on the work we have done. So I want to very quickly show you the report, because today's workshop is just going to touch on the highlights of this report, which is very comprehensive, and it's available on the IDA website. It's also available on the IEA website, and it's a report that covers select countries: Canada, where Bruce Ander hails from, South Korea, Jong-Jun Lee, Michael King from the UK, and Anna Chittum has put in content for Denmark, and we worked on the USA. So it's a select bunch of countries that we have showcased in this report, and it's very focused on governance models and strategic decision-making processes for deploying thermal grids. There's a lot of work done to date on technologies and success stories, but what we've done is we've peeled the onion around the success and gone deep into what was it that made it successful, what were the strategies. So at this point, I want to also thank my co-authors here, Anna Chittum to my left, Anna from Gridcraft and IDA, Jong-Jun Lee is representing Korea District Heating Corporation, which is very helpful in supporting content in the report, and Michael King, my dear friend from the UK, who has been writing about this subject for many, many years, but has provided very useful content in this report. So I just want you to, I think it's over 100 pages, and we have 2 appendices, 12 case studies from these select countries, an appendix on tools. You'll find the appendix on tools available at your seats, and I want you to take the time after this workshop to look at the report. So I'm going to provide a brief introduction of the agenda today. We are going to start off with a very important context-setting piece, and that's to look at the political, economic, technological, and social context. Anna Chittum will provide an overview and talk about the countries that we've covered in our report, and that will be followed by a panel discussion that we have panelists from Canada, Bruce Ander from Markham District Energy. Bruce has been a past chair of IDA and a very experienced, insightful district energy system manager. From South Korea, Jong-Jun Lee, and then from UK, Michael King. Anna will follow that segment with looking at policies. You know, what are some of the federal, state, and local policies that enable successful district energy systems. We're going to have Tomas Smetnisova from Canada talk about procurement opportunities and challenges. You know, part of making a district energy system work is procuring the system components and the challenges that one has to face, both in the public and private sector, and getting all the components lined up. And then I will follow that with a look at the business models that are in use across successful systems. What are some of the best practices? What are some of the challenges and the lessons learned? And we are going to have 3 of the 12 case studies presented today. From the public sector perspective, we'll have Aarhus from Denmark. Anna Chittum will talk about that. Jong-Jun Lee will talk about Sangam from South Korea. And Jim Lodge, who's our host for this conference and is busy making all the things happen today, will join us and talk about Phoenix here in Arizona. After lunch, we're going to look at an important aspect. Our research shows that district energy systems are not static. They have a life cycle. You know, they're conceived, the feasibility studies, and then they're implemented, and they have a long life. They need to be operated, maintained, and then sometimes modernized, and nowadays sold and acquired by other parties. We also have a panel discussion during that segment with Ken Smith from Evergreen Energy, and Suresh Jambunathan from Veolia. I've seen Suresh this morning, and Jim Lodge from NRG. Michael Ahern is going to join us from Evergreen Energy. He's on a plane right now to talk about community-based energy planning for successful projects. So we're covering the breadth of what it takes to be successful in implementing these systems. We also have a short video on stakeholder engagement, stakeholders too, but that Helen Andrews Tipper from the Carbon Trust has sent in. She couldn't make it, but it's a very insightful video, 10 minutes or so, that you will get to see this afternoon. And then Michael will talk about capacity building, a very important aspect of success in these systems. And then we'll have time for open discussion. After each segment, feel free to ask questions. I think there's a mic up front here, and we'd love to have engagement and also listen to what your insights are to build on what we found. So district energy systems, as we know, live in communities. They work with municipal objectives and support cities as they grow and modernize and urbanize. But success really requires a balancing act. It's really looking at physical, financial, environmental, and social landscapes and seeing how, as a systems provider, you can meet as many of these objectives as possible and still have an economically viable system. So this is the concept that we have produced for the life cycle of a district energy system, starting with the concept. You have to spend a lot of time developing the concept before you open the valve to go to the next stage. So we'll cover this in detail in the afternoon. But we've also identified some key factors that we call them the RIMPT set of factors: risk, information, money, people, and tools. And all of the systems that we've looked at, and I'm sure you will identify these factors in your own systems, is that getting from vision to viability requires paying attention to some of these key factors. And I wanted to end with this slide because this is a slide that shows that the district energy industry continues to grow. This is produced by IDA. We call it, we get this information from folks who volunteer, system growth. And district cooling systems, as we know, are growing more rapidly these days than district heating systems, as our folks from the Middle East will testify. But in general, district energy systems continue to move forward. A lot of them are doing it right. Doing it right, I think, as Bruce and Michael will tell you, is very important because a failed project is not just a failed project. It reflects poorly on the whole industry. So our hope is that with this workshop, you have insights and information and make connections with experts and service providers so that when it's time for you to look at your project or system, you can bring those to bear on your system.